Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with our midweek magic deck, and looks like we're playing Singleton in... oh, it's Alchemy again. Well, I guess we can put together something that maybe can take advantage of Alchemy buffed cards this time? I guess? Sorry, again, I have no enthusiasm for Alchemy. Literally, we're just doing this just to get the free cards. So, we'll keep this quick. Let's go ahead and dive right into what we're playing today. And for today's deck, we're going to be playing a dungeon crawler deck. So I've actually wanted to try out a variety of dungeon possibilities for us, and I do actually have a deck that we've already got prepped to go for a future deck tech, but right now we're just going to play a much more casual Singleton one for the Alchemy event. And the only reason why I'm picking actually this is basically a good chunk of the actual Alchemy buffs were towards dungeon cards. So that's why we're going to choose it today. We'll choose a couple other cards just to kind of help support the game plan, but the main focus is we're trying to get as much value as we can out of our dungeon mechanics. So, real quick, if you haven't seen it before, basically anytime we have cards that activate dungeons, we're going to be then trying to crawl into one of these. Most likely, we're going to be picking, of course, if you've seen me do this before, is we're mostly just going to want to try to pick at least the Lost Mine. This is perhaps the best value per how many times we have to go into dungeons to get the most out of any of one of them. That's not to say, again, we can't use the dungeons such as Tomb of Annihilation or the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, but again, Lost Mine 100% of the time is much what you're going to be playing with. Otherwise, aside from that, most of the cards are, again, this is at Singleton, so you'll be using all the possibly decent dungeon cards, such as Precipitous Drop, Triumphant Adventure, Borrow into the Clan Urder, and then we have a couple other cards that can kind of support the game plan, such as Inquisitor Captain, which is also an Alchemy card, other cards such as Lulu, Forgetful Hollyphant, and of course, other things that will give us a little bit more value, such as Hama Pashar, Ruin Seeker, to double up our triggers on rooms. A couple other cards can help us ramp out, such as the Shambling Ghast. We have a little bit of removal with things such as Bloodchief's Thirst. We have some protection such as Slip Out the Back. We have Fly to hopefully get us a little bit more value out of any one of our creatures to do some more dungeon crawling. A little bit of extra support, such as we have Disenchant for, again, Artifact Enchantment Hate. We have other cards such as Suspicious Stowaway, which is going to help us just go through our deck to keep drawing out what we need. And a couple other extra cards that can provide a little bit more to round out the game plan, just as a Paladin class to hurt our opponents. We have Archon of Emeria. That's another card that can help us just make sure that we stay in control of our whole deck. Cards that bring back things such as Patch Up, Inquisitor Captain. We have other cards that mostly just kind of, again, support the whole package. And basically that's mostly it. Again, I don't really have too much I want to say on this, just because, again, Singleton's not very consistent. You're mostly just playing this for the fun of it, so whatever you want to play in the format, go for it, but this is what I think would help us at least get the most out of an Alchemy set of cards. As far as your land base, it's giant hodgepodge of everything, from Forsaken Crossroads, a Field of Ruin, Evolving Wilds, Dungeon Descent. I honestly don't think you're going to use this as much, but we put it in for flavor purposes, so why not? Any of the dual lands that you're able to acquire, just one of each, of course, because it is Singleton. A couple swamps, a couple plains, an island. The Hall of the Storm Giants is really great in the late game. Otawara, Soaring City, of course, Nijano are just going to be the cards that just kind of, again, provide us a little bit more backup to round out the package. Hive of the Eye Tyrant for a little graveyard hate. Not that we're going to need it that much in a Singleton format, and because of that, that's why there's obviously no sideboard. Not much else, except let's just go ahead and jump into some games to show you how the deck is meant to be played. But before we do that, as always, if you do want to support the channel and you really want to help me out and be one of my true fiery friends, all I'm just going to ask, as always, is please make sure to give a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so you can enjoy all the deck techs, booster pack openings, gameplay, and so much more. Oh, and of course, real quick before we go, let's throw up on screen again what it would cost if you actually were curious of maybe putting together something like this that maybe could be the structure for maybe a future Brawl deck, which could be also a Commander deck, but we're going to go into that again in a future video. But aside from that, we're going to now jump into the gameplay. No commentary as always, so you can just enjoy what's going on screen. And again, I will hopefully you enjoy this deck, and I'm sure you will at least be, if nothing else, not be disappointed to have some fun with some dungeon crawling. that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later!